Building an app, the clicker game. So this is where we're going to really start using our variables. We've been practicing up until this point, but we want to be able to use it in real life in a practical term. So for example, I've created this really small program. We have some arrows. I have an arrow that goes up and an arrow that goes down. It does say let's click, let's count, and click on the arrows. So what we want to do is we want to make it so that when we click our up arrow, so on the event that the up arrow is clicked, our variables go up and it displays it. So let's take a look on how to do that. I'm going to go ahead and remix this code and make it my own. So we go here to our view code, we hit this remix button. All right, so right here I have something that says variable shows up here. It does say let's count. We have a main screen, we have an up arrow and a down arrow. Now if I had to do it and I were you guys, I would create my on events first. So I'm going to click on this arrow, go here, insert and show code, go back to my design, click this, insert and show code. So now I have it for my up arrow and my down arrow. I'm going to need a variable. That variable is going to help me count, remember, because variables are there so that it can remember something temporarily. It stores it in RAM so that we can be able to access it at any point in time. We can also adjust it. So I'm going to go here to my variables. I'm going to declare a new variable and assign value. I'm declaring a new variable by using the keyword var. I'm going to give it a name and then I'm going to assign value. In this particular example, I'm going to use count because that's what I'm doing. The initial value should be at 0. So the magic has happened, but we can't see it. And us silly humans, we like proof. So if I go here to my UI controls, I'm going to do this set text command. It does exactly what it says it's going to do. It's going to set text of an ID and what the text is. So I want to set the text here where it says variable shows up here. If I go into my design mode, I can see that there is a UI element here and there is one here. So you can use your ID show variable or your ID display var. Either one works. It was mainly there just to give some information, but I'll take either. Personally, if it were me, I would move this over. And now I have my ID of show variable, or show, yeah, it says show variable. Okay. So I'm going to go here to my code. That's where I want my variable to show up as, under show variable, and the text. Now again, if I were to call upon my variable called count with my quotes, if I hit run, it's going to quite literally show up as count because quotes say shut up and do, pretty much. That's a term used in Linux where if you're trying to get a command to work, you end up using what's called sudo, and that is a computer term that we use like, hey, I know you don't want to do this, but I want you to do it anyway. So quite literally what happens in the quotes is it tells the computer don't do anything, just do exactly what I'm saying to do in these quotes. Do it. Don't think about it, just do it. So to call upon a variable, you never use quotes because we actually want it to do some form of calculations. We want it to display something. We want it to do something. And in this case, we are calling upon a variable count and it's going to return our value. So when I hit reset and I hit run, we have a nice little 0. All right. Well, on the event that my up arrow is clicked, I want my variable count to go up by 1. Well, we don't know what, well, currently our count is at 1, but when I hit that up arrow, currently my count is at 0, but when I hit that up arrow, it should go to 1. And then I hit it again, it should go to 2, and I go to 3, it should do it again. So I'm going to assign value to an already pre-existing variable. Notice I'm not using var because I've already declared it up here. I've already created it up here using keyword var. Now I just call upon it. So the logic on adding to a variable. It's saying, I want you to find out what the current value of count is, add 1, and then restore it back into our variable called count. You can do it this way. There's also another way. I want you guys to see both because both ways work. So this is the logic behind it. This is going to be a different way. This is actually not going to work, so we have to show text. The shortcut is called plus plus. So I can do count plus plus, end it with a semicolon, and that's the same thing. It's the shortcut in computer programming. If you want to use it, I'm okay with that. If you want to stick with count has the value of whatever count is plus 1, I'm okay with that as well. For simplicity's sake, I'm going to keep it at whatever count is plus count 1. Now, if I were a legit programming this, I would use my count plus plus. Now, I want to do the same thing with my down arrow, only I want to subtract 1. So I'm going to reassign that value of count has the value of whatever count is minus 1. So it's going to so it does what's on the right side of the equation first. It's going to say, hey, what's the current value of count? Well, currently it's at 0. Well, I want you to add 1 to it, okay? And then I want you to store it in a count, so it's going to be 1. Well, what's the current value of count? Well, it's currently 1 because that's what you've told me to do here. Well, okay, so the current value of count is 1. I want you to subtract 1 from it, and then I want you to restore it in count, which is going to give us 0. So let's see that works. When I hit run, uh-oh, I'm hitting these buttons and nothing's happening. Well, that's not necessarily true. It is happening, we just can't see it. And humans, we like to see it. So I'm going to throw my set text here because this is what happens. Now, if I were to set my text up here, I'm actually going to show you what's going to happen. So I'm going to go to the ID of show variable, enter. What in the world? Why aren't you doing this? All right. I love Macs. Do I have to like physically type it in here? Let's do this. Show variable. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. Sometimes it's easier just, I'm an old school programmer, so if I get too fed up with the blocks, I just do it. Now, I'm going to reduce my time a bit. I'm going to throw my exact same, so I use copy and paste because it's the exact same command. I'm going to hit reset, I'm going to hit run. There we go. You can see them both working. Now, I want to show you what's going to happen if I were to set my text before I set my variable. So what would happen is the logic is, okay, at the start of the program, count equals 0. We're going to set our text to show variable element ID, whatever count is. Then on the event that my up arrow is clicked, I want it to show variable and the count. Well, on our first iteration, count is 0. So we're showing it as 0. When we click our up arrow, we're still going to show it as 0 because nothing has changed yet. So if I hit reset and I hit run, I hit that up arrow, it stays at 0 till I hit it again, and then it goes to 1. But that's not actually what it is because it's currently at 2. So we're not showing it. So you want to make sure that it does the magic first, which is here in our purple, and then it shows it for our humans, us humans. And that's how we complete this. Good luck.